Good day, I am Vanessa M. Alezon of BS Ed2 Mathematics. Today I will going to discuss the higher education and life abroad of Jose Rizal. So, year 1872, Rizal studied at Ateneo de Manila, or Ateneo de Municipal, formerly known as Escuela Pia, under the supervision of the Jesuit priest. His father wanted to send him to Letran but decided to have him enrolled at latter instead. In June 10, 1872, Rizal took his first examination at Colegio de San Juan de Letran. He accompanied by his brother Ponciano. So the exams for all incoming freshmen for different colleges for boys were held in Colegio de San Juan de Letran, since the Dominican exercised the power of regulation and inspection over the Ateneo that time. After the exam, Rizal admitted to Ateneo de Municipal. Although Rizal is qualified in the entrance examination, Father Amagin Ferrand, who was college registrar, refused Rizal's admission in the institution for two reasons. First, Rizal was late registrant, and second, he was very pale and thin and undersized for an 11 years old. Through the help of Manuel Borgus, he was admitted in the institution, but Rizal did not able to use Mercado as his surname as he enrolled in Ateneo. So this is the picture of Father Margin Fernando. So he's the one who refuses Rizal's admission in Ateneo. Jose Rizal was registered as Jose Rizal because his real surname had rang the ears of the authorities. So at that time, Ateneo was offering 6 years programs that gives students an academic title, Bachelor in Arts. So that is the academic title, Bachelor and Artist. So this program exposed students to 5 subjects: Christian doctrine, languages of Spanish, Latin, Greek, and French, history and geography, world history and geography, and history and geography of Spain and Philippines, mathematics and science, geometry, trigonometry, mineralogy, chemistry, physics, botany, zoology, and the classic disciplines, poetry, rhetoric, and philosophy. Father Jose Beck's Rizal's first professor. So si Father Jose Beck is Rizal's first professor. Rizal excelled as the emperor in his class, and titles as the most intelligent in the class. So Raison Studiorum, so method of instruction used in Ateneo. It is a system of indoctrination under tight and constant discipline but with reward. So muna siya ang system of indoctrination nila. So method of instruction na siya kanang Raison Studiorum. Ad majorem Dei gloriam, or for the greater glory for God. Major goal for Atenean. So they have no other goal in school in Ateneo. It's just ad majorem Dei gloriam, or for the greater glory for God. So mao na lang major goal. So a student's life was centered to chapel, considered as the highest level in extracurricular activity. So the highest level of extracurricular activity was the life, or the how a student served in the chapel. March 14, 1877, Rizal had able to pass his oral examination. So last March 14, 1877, Rizal had passed his oral examination. Then he finished with degree, Bachelor the Artist with highest academic honor. So kuan kay sa sa Rizal, very intelligent kayo. He have the degree and with the highest academic honor. So next, he proceed to Santa Isabel College after studying in Ateneo during her kung sa to ang time karon high school life kay 11 years old pa man siya ato onwards. So after ni sa Ateneo de Municipal, dato siya take og college sa Santa Isabel College. So one of the oldest college institution in the Philippines. So mo na siya ang picture sa Santa Isabel College. Colegio de Santa Isabel, formerly known during Spanish time. So Rizal took lessons in Santa Isabel College to be proficient in Spanish and develop skills. Proceed in Santa Isabel College to develop skills in poetry and writing. So Father Francisco Paula de Sanchez guided Rizal in developing skills in poetry. Before Rizal takes lesson in Santa Isabel College. So before siya nag-take og lesson sa Santa Isabel College, daan na din si Father Francisco Paula de Sanchez. So siya ang nag-guide kay Jose Rizal before pa siya na-enroll sa college. So through his poetry, Rizal has able to finish poems about religion, education, and childhood experiences. During his vacant time, Rizal takes painting lesson from Agustin Saiz and sculpture lesson from Teodoro Romualdo de Jesus to enhance his interest in art. So kumbaga si Jose Rizal is dili siya makampante guro kung wala siya buhaton. Kaya kung vacant time niya, naa si Agustin Saiz taga-train saya o painting lesson. Then kung wala po si Agustin Saiz, apod si Teodoro Romualdo de Jesus to enhance his interest in sculpture. So some of his works, example ang sculpture niya, so the image of Virgin Mary and the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So nadan niya sa next slide ang picture ana. Then mi primera inspiración. So my first inspiration. Rizal's first poem wrote as a student. This poem was dedicated to his mother. So my first inspiration nga poem sikat kay ni. Ko ato siya i-search sa Google, magawas jud siya. Then kani siya nga poem is dedicated niya sa iyang mama. So, mo na siya akong giingon ganina, ang sculpture ni Jose Rizal. So, Virgin Mary and Sacred Heart of Jesus. So, An recuerdo de mi pueblo, in memory of my town. A poem written when he studying in Ateneo, year 1876. This poem is tribute to his hometown, Calambang. The content of this poem show how Rizal appreciates the beauty of his place, which made him love nature and strengthen his faith and belief in God. So, mo na siya. In memory of my town. Kung gusto niyo mabasa, guys, na-Japon siya sa module, kung na-upload siya sa Google. So, some of his notable novels were Al Niño Jesus, To the Child Jesus, as Rizal's expression to his devotion to Catholicism, La Alianza en tema entre religion y la buena education. So the intimate alliance between religion and good education. And por la education recibe lustre de la patria. Through education, the country receives light. So muna siya ang mga notable novel ni Jose Rizal. So muna siya my first inspiration. Si iyang mama, about siya Teodora, iyang mama. Then kani siya si Agustin Saiz, muna yung trainer sa painting. So next, after studying in Santa Isabel College, he proceeded in University of Santo Tomas. After having a degree in Ateneo as Bachelor in Arts, Rizal admitted to higher studies in the university. So, muna siya proceed siya higher study in the University of Santo Tomas. So, one of the oldest school in the Philippines lang gihapon na Santo Tomas. So, Doña Teodora was against Rizal's decision to pursue higher education because of her fear of what might happen to his son due to the martyrdom of Gomborza. However, Don Francisco sent Rizal to UST, the Dominican University of the Philippines. So, at that time, ang good is kanang nahadlok yung mga paeskwelahon siya in higher education. Kaya basig makuha na po siya, basig makuha na sa atensyon sa kanang mga Spaniards, kapahiya siya atong Gomborza, Martin of Gomborza. So, di siya gusto nga mo padayon pa sa Jose eskwela, higher education. But iyang papa, Don Francisco, sent Rizal to UST, which is the Dominican University of the Philippines. So Rizal was 16 years old when he is freshman in UST. He enrolled under Faculty of Philosophy and Letters, major in philosophy. This was the course of his wanted him to pursue, but then it turned out that he took up courses in cosmology, metaphysics, theodicy, and history of philosophy. So ang gusto siyang papamanggod is kato siya philosophy and letters, major in philosophy, pero lahi ang gikuha. After first year, Rizal changed his course to medicine because he believed that he could come to cure his mother who have eyesight failure. So after freshman, wala dyan siya nag-stick sa iyang course sa gikuha. Kumbaga sa to pa nag-shift siya o course. Nag-shift siya o medicine kay he believed na he could cure the kanang eyesight failure of his mother. So, that is the educational story of Jose Rizal in Santo Tomas, Santa Isabel College, and Ateneo de Municipal. That's all. Thank you.
I'm Sarah Marie Flores, and I will continue to discuss the life of Rizal. So, here we are. The academic performance of Rizal at UST. Rizal's performance in UST was not as good as his accomplishment in Ateneo, where he excelled in all his subjects. But some of Rizal's grades in UST were still excellent, but he had lower grades in the other subject. This might have been because Rizal was not actually happy in UST. So there are 3 contributing factors to explain this. And first is the attitude of Dominican professor towards Rizal. And second is there was racial discrimination against Filipino students. And third, he was disgusted at the primitive method in UST. And Rizal's not-so-good performance can also be attributed to a number of distractions he experienced as a youth in Manila. Specifically, his interest in women when he was in UST. So, the first woman he was into was Sigundina Katigbak of Batangas, whom he frequently visited in her boarding house. But when Rizal learned that she was getting married, he turned his eyes on another woman. So Rizal in this time was womanizer. And when he was, upon learning that Sigundina Katigbak was getting married, he turned his eyes to Leonor Orang Valenzuela and Leonor Rivera. So he was courting both of these women. But he learned that Orang was engaged with another man. Rizal focused on courting Leonor Rivera, his first cousin. So as you know from this, we could tell that Rizal became very busy with other things. a reason why he had less time for studies. He also joined gang fights, attended parties, and even did cutting classes. So next is liberalism and literary works as a university student. Liberal ideas were significantly introduced in Manila owing to the culmination of the Spanish Civil Wars, opening of Suez Canal, and availability of the Philippines to world trade. So to the support the production of literary works in Manila, the Liceo Artístico Literario de Manila, an organization of art lovers in the city, initiated regular competitions in literary writing. So in this, Rizal joined the contest to prove that the Filipinos can be equal and even surpass the Spaniards in literary prowess. So these are the two poems that Rizal made, A la Juventud Filipina, or To the Filipino Youth, and El Consejo de los Dioses, The Council of Gods. These two poems were recognized as the best entry in the competition. So, next is A la Juventud Filipina. This literary work is considered as one of the best works of Rizal. He wrote this when he was 18. This poem won the grand prize in the contest wherein Rizal received a silver quill for sharing his talent in poetry. So this poem was considered as a great work in the Philippine literature for the following reason. So first is the Spanish authorities noticed that it was the first best poem in Spanish written by a Filipino. And second, it showed that the Filipino were the fair hope of the motherland, a nationalistic concept that portrayed Rizal's love for the country. In his piece, he clearly mentioned that the Philippines is his motherland, or mi patria. However, the Spanish authorities did not see the political involvement of the poem, because in the poem, Spain was considered to be the patria, but contrary to what's written, Rizal used the term to mean the Philippines. Rizal, for that reason, was the first Filipino to call the country his motherland. He also pointed out in his poem the role of the youth in nation building. So, in this poem, A la Juventud Filipina, or To the Filipino Youth, Rizal encourages the youth of his days to practice or to enhance their talents in arts, to develop their knowledge of the sciences, and not be afraid of the future, and remove the chain of bondage. So next is another piece of Rizal is El Consejo de los Dioses, or Rizal's entry in literary contest of 1880, and was announced as the best entry in the competition that year. However, the jury knew that its author was a Filipino, so they decided to confer the grand prize to a Spaniard. So there is biases in this time. So in this time, Rizal didn't won the grand prize. But even though Rizal did not receive the best award, he had proven that the Filipino can compete with other races in a fair play, irrespective of the superiority of the Spaniards. And there is another poem that Rizal wrote, The Junto al Pasig, a one-act play that was requested by the Jesuits. So, at the request of the Rizal wrote a one-act play and was staged of Ateneo in celebration of the feast day of Immaculate Conception on December 8th. The play was essentially considered as continuation of Rizal's appeal to the Filipino youth to rebuke foreign individuals for causing them misery. And next is, Rizal stood as a leader in student activism when he was studying philosophy and medicine in UST. The Spanish and Mestizo students called the Filipinos Indio or Chongo. In return, Rizal and his peers retaliated by calling them Castilla or Bangos. Rizal then created a secret group of Filipino students called Compañerismo. The members were called Companions of Jeho, the Patriot General of the Jews. Rizal automatically became the president of this secret society, and Galiciano Apacible was the secretary. He condemned the humiliation of brown Filipino students who were most of the time insulted by their Dominican mentors. He also criticized the archaic method of instruction at UST. He ridiculously described the teaching of physics devoid of laboratory experiments. Students were not allowed to touch the laboratory. So, when Rizal is in UST, they kaagi jud sila o kanang mga kuan sa mga Spaniards. And then favoritism, color nila, pagkuha niya og good grades kana tanan na sina tanan taga mga Spaniards ana nga time. So next is experiencing Spanish brutality. So Rizal experienced brutality with the Spaniards. So Rizal first and Spanish brutality during his first summer vacation at Calamba after his freshman year in UST. While walking past the streets, he did not notice the man passing by because of the darkness of the night. This man happened to be a lieutenant of the Guardia Civil. So, in that time, kung naa sa posisyon, ana nga time is, kuan jud kay na sa ilaha nga dapat, mo respeto ka sa ilaha. But since Rizal did not pay respect to the lieutenant by saluting or greeting him, the lieutenant whipped him with his sword and slashed it at Rizal's back, causing him to be wounded. So, in this time, Rizal experienced so much brutality just by wala niya pagpansin sa lieutenant sa Guardia Civil. Of course, everybody was expected to bow down to the Guardia Civil during that time. Consequently, Rizal wrote a complaint letter to Governor General Primo de Rivera, but the response, as foreseen, was nothing as good considering that he was an Indio. So, okay, it's because Filipino and the is Spanish, so the bias kayo ato nga time, mas pilion jud nila nga mo panig sa ilahang tao. The incident left Rizal a bad impression of the unfair and unjust acts of the Spaniards towards the Filipino. So that time, grabe jud ka brutal ang mga Spanish kang Rizal. So si Rizal is daghan jud kay siya kaagi. And next is my classmate will continue to explain Rizal's life abroad. So that would be all my report, and thank you for listening.
Hey mom, this is Laika Milagrosa. So these are the continuation of our report. So my topic is all about Rizal's life abroad. So in Rizal's life abroad in Barcelona, Rizal decided to leave the country not just to complete and finish his medical study in Europe. In May 1, 1882, Rizal left Calamba and was able to reach Manila for 10 hours of journey via a Caramata. No one among his family members of Rizal knew about his journey to Spain, Barcelona, except Pasiano and his uncle. So Pasiano is his brother. So one of the reasons why Rizal wants to continue study abroad is it's because he wants to widen his learning and to acquire knowledge about a cure for his mother worsening eye condition. At hindi lang yon, he wants to make a name for himself in the realm of journalism. But Rizal makes sure that his family didn't know about his journey to Spain, Barcelona, because he knew that his parents will oppose to his decision. So his brother Pasiano helped him weigh out. Pasiano secured that Rizal's passport with the name of Jose Mercado. Rizal stayed in Manila for 2 days before his trip to Spain. He arrived at Singapore after 1 week and stayed for 2 days. He took to visit his botanical garden, art galleries, park, historical spots, and he recorded every detail that he observed. His brother Pasiano did everything to ensure that Rizal can leave the country secretly. So before his journey to Spain, Barcelona, Jose Rizal stayed in Manila for 2 days. He felt very sad leaving his country and family. So, to entertain himself, he took to visit his botanical garden, art galleries, parks, historical spots, and he recorded every detail that he observed. So in that way, his loneliness will disappear. So Rizal took a train going to Barcelona. At first, his impression of the city and the people was negative. But later on, he realizes that Barcelona is a nice city. Rizal was welcomed by the Filipinos in Barcelona. Most of it is his former classmate at Ateneo Municipal. While in Barcelona, Rizal took time writing to his family, relatives, and friends in the Philippines. Pasiano believed that Rizal would be able to express his nationalistic and patriotic sentiment. So, even though Rizal is a busy person, but he did not forget to write a letter to his family, relatives, and friends in the Philippines. He did not forget one of his mission, that making a name for himself in the field of writing. So Pasiano believed that Rizal would be able to express his nationalistic and patriotic sentiment, which in effect can arouse the hostility and suspicion of the Spanish regime. Rizal will be transformed into patriot, a novelist, and nationalistic person. So his first article written in Spain was entitled Love of Country. After El Amor Patrio, Rizal stopped producing nationalistic articles. Rizal's first article was entitled Love of Country. He sent this article to his friend in Manila, Basilio Teodoro, who was a member of the editorial staff of the Diaryong Tagalog, the first Manila daily to have a Tagalog section. So Basilio was impressed by the article and congratulated Rizal and asked Rizal to publish more articles. So one of the reasons why Jose Rizal stopped producing nationalistic articles, it's because the opposition of his mother, difficulty of recognition in a foreign country, and to desire to finish his study. So that's the reason why Jose Rizal stopped producing nationalistic articles. So later on, in September 1882, Rizal decided to move to the capital city of the Spain, which is in Madrid, to continue his studies. So when he is in Madrid, he enrolled in philosophy and letters of licentiate in medicine at the Universidad Central de Madrid. So while studying in the university, he also enrolled at the Academy of San Carlos, taking up painting and sculpture and languages in French, German, and English, and etc. So Rizal passed the medical examination, which he took from June 5 to 26. He was given the degree of licentiate in medicine for this and continued his doctorate degree in medicine. However, he failed to present his thesis for graduation. During this time, Rizal was halfway done with his novel, The Noli Me Tangere. So let's go on in Circulo Hispano-Filipino. So despite of Rizal's hectic schedule, he found time to associate with his fellow farmer and the others. But Rizal, Jaina, and Del Pilar were closely associated, and the trio were called triumvirate of the propaganda movement. So Rizal, while in Madrid, sent a letter to Don Francisco about joining Circulo Hispano-Filipino, but later on, he told him that the society was disbanded. So Rizal felt the hardship in Madrid. The finances of Rizal's family turned bad to worse. As a result, there were frequent delays in his monthly stipend from the Philippines. Influenced by Miguel Moraita, a history professor at the Universidad de Madrid, Rizal became a member of Freemasonry with Di Masalang. So, what is Circulo Hispano-Filipino? So, Circulo Hispano-Filipino was a social organization meant to create reforms for the Philippines. They conducted informal programs which include poetry reading and debates. Even with a busy schedule, Rizal took time to join his fellow Filipinos in Madrid. The group knew that Rizal is a good writer, so he joined the competition. It was difficult for Rizal during his stay in Madrid because there were delays in his monthly allowance coming from the Philippines, of his family experiencing hardship caused of crop failures, drought, locusts, and hike in rentals on the hacienda lands in his hometown. There were times that Rizal attended class with an empty stomach. So that was the reason why Rizal experiencing difficulties in Madrid. Later on, he became a master mason in La Solidaridad on November 15, 1890. Hence, Rizal was immediately removed from the Catholic Church. Rizal was in love in Consuelo, the daughter of Don Pablo, but unfortunately, Rizal held back his feelings for Consuelo, knowing that he was engaged on the Philippines. So, before living in Madrid in 1883, Rizal composed a poem that expressed his feelings for Consuelo entitled A Señorita C.O.Y.R. On June 25, 1884, in honor of Juan Luna and Felix Hidalgo, Rizal made a speech, The Brandist. He stated that Luna and Hidalgo were the pride of Filipinos people. So, Rizal's love interest in Madrid was Consuelo, the Don Pablo's daughter, because of her good traits and beautiful smiles. That's why he got attracted and fell in love with her. But he held back his feelings for Consuelo because he was already engaged on the Philippines. That's why before living in the Madrid, Rizal composed a poem that can express his feelings for Consuelo. Both Filipino painters joined the National Exposition of Fine Arts. In his speech, Rizal said that intelligence knows no race and the prizes they got were results of both Philippines and Spain. So, he also hoped that someday Spain will accept the changes that the Filipinos have to offer. The speech was published in the newspaper El Liberal. And that will be all. Thank you.